Hello there, my neighbors. I've been going down the rabbit hole of falling in love with Warhammer 40k. I wish I would have played Space Marine when it first came out. I bet if I did, I would have fell in love with Warhammer 40k much sooner. Space Marine does 40k such justice, and I was absolutely in love with it during the entire ride. If you're not familiar with what Warhammer 40k is, let me start you off with the most memorable quote regarding 40k. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. The universe is dark, bloody, and it sucks to be living in there. You play as Captain Titus of the Ultramarines. Ultramarines are gene-seeded, specialized space marines who are so rare in this universe. Whenever guardsmen, which the guardsmen are your everyday soldiers, see space marines, they consider them to be the equivalents of angels. You start the game launching yourself out of a ship as other ships are exploding and firing around you, landing on an enemy orc ship where you learn the basics of the game. The music and the sound is outstanding, and this is a hell of a way to start the game. The orcs and goblins who belong to the condensed group name of greenskins are very horde-like in how they choose to swarm you in overwhelming numbers. You have different variations from the lowly melee goblin and orcs to rocket launching orcs and black orcs. They're a simple enemy who only desire war, and they're a great enemy to fight against. I do feel though that they tend to overstay their welcome in the game as they get exhausting to fight after a while. Not in difficulty, but just in basic repetition. You have many ways to tackle your enemies with bolters, stalkers, plasma pistols, vengeance launchers, storm bolter, heavy bolter, autocannon, chainsaw, battle axe, jetpack with a warhammer, pulse rifles, laser sniper rifles, grenades. Each weapon is efficient with specific types of enemies, and you have to be proficient in what weapon you use on what enemy. Is your weapon taking a long time to take an enemy down? Well, you're probably using ballistic weapons on an enemy that is weak to energy weapons. The combat is outstanding and the music matches it. Every encounter is really enjoyable, and I love the feel and the sound of the weapons. Heck, even the sound of you walking is absolutely metal. The Forge world is interesting and claustrophobic in some scenarios, which really increases the pucker factor of being there. But I do wish we got to see more worlds in this playthrough. I think it would be very interesting in expanding the universe. Eventually, after fighting orcs for a little too long, you come into conflict with the forces of Chaos. So Chaos, or Chaos Marines in that fact, they worship basically 4 of these kind of gods, chaos gods. You have Slash, which is really into indulgence and sex. You have Nurgle, who's into bloat, disease, decay. You have Khorne, who's the basically god of war. All he cares about is war, murder, besting someone one-on-one in combat. And then you have Tzeentch. Tzeentch basically, he's into magic, knowledge, and he's very eldritch in the way he does things, and he just likes fucking with people. He thinks it's fucking hilarious. The forces of chaos, they have less numbers compared to the orcs, but they do so much damage. With the orcs, I could be a bit more reckless, but with chaos, I was finding out I had to peekaboo in and out of cover sometimes. Chaos are a nice refreshment after you've been choking on steel orc for a bit. The story is really good, even when some bits seem a bit obvious. But it doesn't really matter if it's obvious of where the story is going. This is Warhammer 40k. You are here to burn heretics and purge filthy Xenos, and that's it. Warhammer 40k is completely unapologetically dark, and I'm here for it. Everyone's a bad guy in their own way. It's the way of 40k. Yes, you can potentially be a bad guy. The humans aren't necessarily good guys. We just like them because they're human like us. For a game over a decade old, I was having a blast, even if the graphics are a bit outdated. I love the Gears of War mixed with third-person Doom gameplay, and it feels right to have a 40k game play this way. I'm super excited for Space Marine 2, and can't wait to take the fight to the Tyranids and learn more about the cliffhanger regarding Captain Titus's fate in this installment. If you're not into 40k and you want to get into it, this game is a must. If you love 40k and haven't played this game, well, That sounds like heresy. I'm gonna have to call the Inquisition on you. Another game I also recommend is playing Bolt Gun. I played that for a little bit, and if you're into 40k, it's a very great game. It's kind of a boomer shooter, but it's really good. So overall, Space Marine 2, it's fantastic, and it's well worth the retread, and I recommend y'all to get Space Marine 2. I really hope they do Space Marine 2 justice. So, have you played Space Marine? What did you think about it? Are you going to get Space Marine 2? Yes, Heretic, you are going to get Space Marine 2. This is not a choice. Leave a subscribe. We're getting so close to becoming partner. Burn the heretics, and as always, come be my neighbor.